But the cool thing about plants in the wild is that they're powerful. And the reason they're so powerful is they have to brave the elements. They have to deal with Mother Nature on a daily basis. They don't always get rain. You know, sometimes they're flooded. They're dealing with bugs. They're dealing with viruses. They're dealing with parasites. They're dealing with all the same things we are. If they're not naturally strong and naturally building and have properties within the plant to help them fight these things off, they're not going to survive. They're going to die. So these plants that grow in the wild are very strong and very powerful. They'll grow roots 200 feet into the earth looking for nutrients. They're not babied. They're not pampered like they are on a farm. On a farm, you know, they got their perfect little soil and they probably put the perfect minerals they need in it and they're watering it every day. That plant's weak. It has no need to grow strong. It's being baited. It's being taken care of. But when you take even your dandelion out in the yard or the plant that's growing up through the crack in the sidewalk, that guy's a fighter. And that's where the power is. It really is, because like I said, I mean, it develops all these natural defense mechanisms, and that's what makes the plant so strong. A perfect example of that, and we're going to kind of get into a little bit of some companies that are really on the cutting edge of these types of products. But one of my favorite companies, probably my favorite company on the planet, is North American Herb and Spice. I don't know if many of you have heard of that company, but just to give you one example of what I'm talking about is they have a product called Oregano, which a lot of you might be familiar with. It's a concentrated oregano oil. Oregano has been studied like you wouldn't believe, okay? Oregano has been studied in major universities all around the world, multiple universities here in the United States, and they've tested it against, you name it. They've tested it against the flu virus, the avian bird flu, mono, strep, H. pylori, E. coli, C. diff, the AIDS virus, on and on and on and on. And it destroys these viruses and these bacteria in nanoseconds. Better than any antibiotic. They've tested it directly against penicillin, and it works better than penicillin. And what's cool about it is it doesn't develop this germ resistance, these super bug thing that's going on with the antibiotics. Because the antibiotics aren't natural, and oregano is. That being said, because there's a lot of research and information out there about oregano, there's a lot of companies selling oregano products. The problem is there's over 60 different species of oregano. What a lot of companies are selling as oregano isn't even oregano. They're using marjoram and other herbs because it's cheaper. And the oregano you're eating on your pizza, it's a good chance it's really not even oregano. Sorry. But the oregano that this company uses in the mountains of Greece at above the tree line at over 9,000 feet, there's only two plants that grow. Sage and oregano. And imagine the elements that these guys are fighting up in these mountains, 10,000, 11,000 feet, not even trees are growing, these harsh conditions, and this stuff is prolific up there. So just imagine the power that's in those plants. That's the only oregano they use. And they don't ever heat it. Everything is, cold pressed. Obviously they don't use any chemicals or herbicides, pesticides, fungicide, insecticide, suicide, any of that stuff. So that's where the power is. So I'm going to get more into that later because I want to talk to you some more about that. But so the other thing about the raw wild plants is the mineral content. Okay, we've all heard that our soil's depleted and it's weak, and well, that's because of everything that's going on. But when you get a plant in the wild, you don't have that problem because again, it's growing roots 200 feet down, out this way, through the sidewalk, whatever it's got to do to find the life it needs, to find the nutrition it needs. So the mineral content is so much higher in these natural plants and these natural herbs. And yes, believe it or not, there are companies like North American Herb and Spice that are actually going out into the wild, picking these products in the wild in their natural habitat and putting it into a product. Where everybody else is using corn or soy or coal or making it synthetically in a laboratory with a white coat. That's not what I want to put in my body. So there's a lot of good choices out there. It's just learning about them. The other thing is the enzymes. You know, a lot of people know about enzymes and the importance of enzymes. We did a class here about 10 days ago on enzymes. It was really awesome. But same thing. The enzyme content's going to be higher. The enzymes are going to be more active and stronger in raw wild plants, as opposed to these commercialized, farmed, heated, treated, processed plants that a lot of companies are using. So where do you find them? Any questions, by the way? No? Pretty straightforward? Okay, cool. Where do you find them? Like I said, you can go out there and pick them yourself and learn about them, or you can buy good quality supplements and know your source. Know where your products are coming from. Read labels. We are really blessed here in Kansas City. We have one of the richest sources of raw wild medicinal plants on the planet, right here in the Kansas City area. And it's the weirdest thing, because I guess maybe because we're right in the center, and we have the seasons, the exact 4 seasons, and whatever it is, the growing conditions here in Kansas City are awesome. And I'm a firm believer that what grows in the immediate area around you is what you need the most. Now, it's awesome that we have everything available to us in this day and age. We can get foods from around the world. Goji berries don't really grow here, but we have access to these things. But I still believe that we really need the plants that grow in our area.